For centuries, the mystery of the 10 lost tribes of Israel has baffled historians, theologians, and explorers alike. Who were they? Where did they vanish? And perhaps most importantly, are they returning to Israel today, fulfilling ancient prophecies spoken thousands of years ago? We're standing here in Jerusalem, the heart of biblical history, to uncover the truth behind one of the greatest mysteries of the Bible. Stay with us as we reveal how these long-lost tribes are resurfacing after 2,700 years of exile, and how their return could signal the unfolding of prophecy before our very eyes. You won't want to miss this. Before we dive into the mystery of the lost tribes, we must first understand where it all began. The story of the 12 tribes of Israel traces back to the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God made a covenant with Abraham, promising that his descendants would become a great nation. This promise was passed down to Isaac and then to Jacob, who would later be named Israel. Jacob had 12 sons from 4 wives, Leah, Rachel, Zilpah, and Bilhah. And these sons, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin, became the founders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Each tribe took its name from one of Jacob's sons, except for Levi. The tribe of Levi was set apart for priestly duties and didn't receive a specific territory like the others. These tribes were more than just family clans. They formed the very foundation of the nation of Israel. But before they became a nation, Jacob's family moved to Egypt to escape famine. Over the next 400 years, they grew into a large people group, but they were eventually enslaved by the Egyptians. God sent Moses to lead them out of Egypt in what became known as the Exodus. After their miraculous escape, the tribes wandered in the wilderness for 40 years before finally entering the Promised Land. Each tribe was given its own territory, except for the tribe of Levi, which was scattered among the other tribes to carry out its priestly duties. The nation seemed united and strong at this point, but this was just the beginning of their journey. The events that followed would change their fate forever. The story of the United Kingdom of Israel begins with King Saul, the first king chosen to lead the tribes. But it was under King David that the tribes truly became one nation. David united the tribes, made Jerusalem the capital, and established a strong kingdom. His reign was marked by military victories and a deep devotion to God. After David, his son Solomon took the throne. Solomon was known for his wisdom and for building the magnificent temple in Jerusalem, a place where God's presence would dwell. Israel reached its peak of power and prosperity during Solomon's reign. However, toward the end of his life, things began to unravel. Solomon's heart turned away from God, and he fell into idolatry, worshiping foreign gods. Because of this, God decreed that the kingdom would be divided after his death. Solomon's son, Rehoboam, became king, but his harsh policies led to a rebellion. The kingdom split into 2. The northern kingdom of Israel, made up of 10 tribes and ruled by Jeroboam, and the southern kingdom of Judah, consisting of the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and part of Levi, ruled by Rehoboam. This division marked the beginning of a turbulent era, setting the stage for exile, scattering, and the mystery of the lost tribes. The Assyrian exile was a turning point in Israel's history, marking the disappearance of the 10 tribes. It all began in 732 BCE when King Tiglath-Pileser III of Assyria invaded the northern kingdom of Israel. This was just the start. Over the next several years, Assyrian kings Shalmaneser V and Sargon VI continued the assault, completely destroying the northern kingdom. The people were captured and deported to distant lands. The once thriving tribes of Israel were scattered, their homeland left in ruins. But where did they go? The Bible gives us some clues. It mentions exile locations such as Hala, the Habor River, and the cities of the Medes, regions that today are part of Syria, Iran, and Iraq. The Assyrians deliberately spread them across these foreign lands to prevent rebellion and break their national identity. Some Israelites fled south to the kingdom of Judah, where they were absorbed into the population and continued to live among the remaining tribes. For the rest, their fate became a mystery. Lost to history, these 10 tribes would come to be known as the Lost Tribes of Israel, sparking centuries of speculation and search for their descendants. The return of the 12 tribes is deeply rooted in biblical prophecy. Throughout the Old Testament, prophets foretold a time when God would gather his scattered people from the 4 corners of the earth. This promise was not just about physical restoration, but also about spiritual renewal. The prophet Isaiah spoke of a day when Israel's exiles would return, while Ezekiel described the symbolic reunion of the divided tribes into one nation. One striking example occurred during the reign of King Hezekiah. He invited the remnants of the northern tribes to join the people of Judah in celebrating Passover in Jerusalem, a rare moment of unity and hope after years of separation. The New Testament provides further evidence that some members of the tribes survived beyond the Assyrian exile. One notable example is the prophetess Anna, mentioned in Luke 2:36. She is described as a member of the tribe of Asher, one of the lost tribes. Her presence in the temple at the time of Jesus' dedication is a powerful reminder that God's promises to preserve a remnant were fulfilled. These examples fuel the belief that the return of the tribes is not only a historical event, but a continuing fulfillment of prophecy in God's grand plan. The mystery of the lost tribes has inspired many groups to trace their ancestry back to ancient Israel. The Samaritans, a small community living in Israel today, claim descent from the tribes of Manasseh, Ephraim, and Levi. Genetic tests have confirmed that their paternal lineage closely matches Israelite heritage, strengthening their connection to the ancient tribes. Unlike mainstream Judaism, the Samaritans worship on Mount Gerizim instead of in Jerusalem, following their ancient traditions. Another fascinating group is Beta Israel, also known as Ethiopian Jews. They believe they descend from the tribe of Dan. Recognized by Israel in 1977, most of this community has since migrated to Israel, fulfilling what many see as a modern prophecy. Similarly, the Lemba people of Zimbabwe and South Africa claim Jewish ancestry and observe several Jewish customs. Genetic tests have revealed that some of them share a unique marker found among the Cohen priestly lineage, offering scientific support for their ancient ties. The B'nai Menashe from India also claim descent from the tribe of Manasseh. Over the years, thousands have returned to Israel, bringing their culture and traditions with them. These groups are living evidence of a global gathering that aligns with the biblical prophecies of Israel's scattered tribes returning home. The return of the 12 tribes is not just a matter of belief. It is supported by both scientific and historical evidence. DNA tests have provided compelling proof that certain groups today are genetically linked to the ancient Israelites. For example, genetic markers have been found in communities like the Samaritans and the Lemba, revealing a direct connection to the biblical tribes. These genetic findings align with historical records and suggest that some tribes never fully disappeared, but rather were scattered across different regions of the world. Archaeological research also supports the claim that descendants of the lost tribes have been gradually returning to the Promised Land. Since the establishment of modern Israel in 1948, numerous groups, including the Beta Israel from Ethiopia and the B'nai Menashe from India, have made their way back to Israel. Their return is seen by many as the fulfillment of ancient prophecies, as the Bible spoke of a time when the scattered tribes would gather together once again. But what does this mean? Spiritual or physical? The return of the tribes is both. Spiritually, it marks a return to faith and identity for many who have been lost to history. Physically, it is a miraculous regathering of people from all over the world, proving that biblical prophecy is not just a story, but a living reality unfolding before our eyes. The return of the 10 lost tribes is a remarkable sign that biblical prophecies are coming to life before our eyes. While not all tribes have been located yet, the discoveries made through science and archaeology are bringing us closer to understanding the full story. Every day, new evidence emerges, reinforcing the idea that the gathering of Israel's exiles is indeed underway. As Christians, it's important to recognize the significance of these prophetic developments. They are not just historical events, they are part of God's greater plan. This is a call to be watchful, to remain rooted in faith, and to remember the promises God made to His people throughout the Bible. The regathering of Israel should deepen our faith in God's faithfulness and encourage us as we anticipate the fulfillment of all His promises. Stay tuned, as there are even more discoveries on the horizon that will continue to shed light on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others. Join us next time as we explore more fascinating biblical truths.